Alrighty, hey guys, how's it going? It is Friday the 22nd of November 2024. We're in the far distant future, and still no hover cars. But it is Friday, which means we here at Second Dynasty are streaming. I wanted to say hello to the chat. I was kind of caught in the middle of something that I've been trying to get finished today, and I'll probably finish that in the last half an hour. This is not Maya that is open, it is After Effects, and the reason for that is that I am working on the video instructions for the assembly of the Typhon. John finally got the instructions finished yesterday. It was a real slog, partially just to a bunch of unforeseen events that caused delays, and then secondly, just, I designed the thing, I built the thing, I assembled the thing. John did his best to reverse engineer that without having done that himself. So there were a number of changes that we needed to make just to make building the Typhon more logical. So I was just finishing up this video. You can see we're almost, it's over half an hour in length. So I go through slowly. This is meant as like a supplemental guide. There will be a PDF version next week. I know I've been saying that for the last 3 weeks, but hey, this time the 3DO version is done. And to prove that, I'm going to save this scene because I don't want to be getting Maya going in the background when I have, let's see, actually these could be cool to look at. So this is the sort of like, I'm going to load up an image, I think. I didn't double click it enough. So this is some of the stuff I've been playing with, so I'm just going to save that so that can close off and we'll have something pretty to look at in the background. So this is a size comparison chart I've been working on my weekends. Featuring, many of the small craft that I have built over the years. And I made an image like this a couple of years back. This is none of the Traveler stuff, by the way. And wow, I'm just realizing I really should have had a drink before getting started talking again. Oh. Before I explain this, maybe I should just say hi to the chat, sorry. Let's see who we got today. We got Custom Blink. Nice to see you. Tamsin, Alex Hughes, Solo Spirit, Clive, Sem is back. And yeah, it's our boy, Sem. Shergo, of course. Anders, Eric, Will Richards, Neil J. Voice. Hello, everyone. And welcome to the chat. Please do not be shy. You can ask questions. Eventually, we might get to them. Albin is in the background, of course, so if you hear any weird noises, 98% chance it's him. The other 2% chance it's Hannes, who's in the room next to us, the chief pep officer of the office. So yeah, as I was just explaining, this is a work in progress where I loaded in all of the sort of our small craft, I guess you could say, that we've had on Tribes or Operation Maelstrom. Basically anything since the end of Sleipnir, when we did our last side-by-side comparison. So you can see all these awesome craft from Operation Maelstrom, from our tribe. If you don't know what our tribes is, every month we release a new vehicle on Tribes, a 3D printable vehicle. Hey, John is late. Well, that's ironic because we were just talking at the start of the stream about you were being late. No, I was explaining the Typhon instructions. So yeah, you can see some great. I'm really proud of our work, and some craft which feel really large with the physical model are actually quite small compared to some of the others. So you can, for example, see our space truck there. You can see our Shuttle Alpha Mark IV variants. I really kind of love the one where it's like stocked with wings and missiles. And extra guns and stuff. It's really 1980s toy. This is the cool, not Y-Wing, the Epsilon bomber that John did. Yeah, he can make some cool stuff. Maybe it's about time John made some more stuff. I mean, he also made the what do we call it? The globule.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is nice. I didn't put the pirate version in. I think that was that you, Shergul, that did one? That one? I can't remember. It was not us. We just shared it. You can see the brand new Hyperion sphere that we did, which feels really massive, but I mean, looking at these shuttle alphas, it's not really that big. And then, of course, you have the Erebus. You have... Actually, that's not the Erebus, that's the Erebus aerodynamic variant. You can kind of tell from the pointier nose and the winglets. We have our beautiful, beautiful Star Trek-esque... God, I'm blanking on the name. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm forgetting my own ships at this point.
Do you have something to do with birds or something? No?
No. No, I'm blanking. Someone in the chat save me. Shergul, save me. The Stalwart, thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
We got the Shuttle Alpha, the Transport Delta 1700, we got the Transport Delta 2400. Here is the Lady of the Hour, the Typhon, for scale, along with the Erebus. Our Notanante configuration of the Sleipnir, which is something we're going to talk about today, and John will cry. The Beta Centauri variant of the Scout. And then I do have a few more updates after that with some sneaky, cheeky side position. So let's see, where's the latest one? Was here from the sides. Let's zoom in here. So yeah, going back to our Erebus, because this is fun to show off, and I'm sorry my head is in the way. Maybe I can temporarily move my head somewhere else. No, what did I do? Abort. There we go. Wow, it's like the Brady Bunch. Yeah, you have to be old to understand that one. Anyway, so we have the Erebus, we have the aerodynamic Erebus, we have the 2400, the 1700. The Typhon is here, and it doesn't look massive in comparison to some of these ships, but it absolutely is. It's like Type S, but with twice the volume. Then we have the Odyssey here. Kind of looks pixelated because of the ribbing on the sort of like, I guess it's what would you call it? Radiators out the back. So nice, beautiful ship. You can see the laser lens arrays open on it. We have the Sleipnir. Oh, sorry, this is the Notanante configuration of it. So the one that's closest to the Rocinante from the Expanse, I guess. It is an Expanse-style ship using a similar design language. The Beta Centauri, we have the Chimera Cerberus, which I envisioned as a sort of like blockade ship for like the Star Wars universe. Looks like it needs to move a little bit, like some of those shadows are... It could be self-shadowing, I'm not sure. We have the Chimera, which I actually went to the effort of, on the weekend, shading a little bit so it could look a bit more unique. This thing is 3 feet long, so 90 centimeters. Then we have 2 unpublished ships, just concepts. One of them, the Hammerhead, actually is relatively close to publishable. I'd say it's probably a 2-week job to make that printable. Most of it is, but it is an extra wide, extra long version of the beta line, Scout Ship beta line, and then the top one is just a concept from the original game that the Scout Ship beta came from. This is before I even started doing 3D printables. Can I make a stretch Typhon? You can make your own stretch Typhon. It's stretchable, as is. You can just stretch it in the middle We probably need to add a few more parts. And now that I'm saying that, I'm like, oh shit, did I promise that already? And I kind of hope I didn't, but maybe. And then I also did an over-the-top version of this same image. So we can see. This looks even cooler, I think, when you get them side by side.
Where would the Beowulf fit in?
The Beowulf would be about the length of the Erebus, I think. Yeah. Somewhere between these two, I'd say the Beowulf is. So I will eventually probably do a Traveller version, and maybe an integrated version, I don't know. The integrated version, probably a Photoshop job. The render time on this thing is getting nuts. Oh, Brian says you love the Sleipnir aesthetic. Well, you might like today's episode because it's going to be all about a particular tail sitter. But anyway, I just wanted to show that off. I'm going to move my camera back to where it was-ish. Somewhere up here, I think. Yay, I'm back where I'm supposed to be. And let me get the chat back so I can see it. And let us... No, that's not the one 3DO. Here we go. Let's load it up and have a squiz. And in the background, I'll also start up Maya. Let's see. And I think we do have some pics we'll be able to preview as well of some of the Traveller progress. So, if you own 3DO, and if you're a Tribes member, I believe it's still a part of the Tribes for free. You would load it up, you would go to Asset, Bundle Browser, and then click on Typhon here, and you should see version 3. Click download, which I really didn't need to click again, but did. This is like the third time I did that. And you can see the wonderful job that John has done. When this is finished downloading, I'm just going to go into Maya when it's finished loading as well. Yeah, when it's finished downloading, click Typhon there, and it will load it in, and you can see the ship in all its glory. And I have to say the import job is fantastic. It looks completely accurate. John did a fantastic job. I know he really pushed through some tough times to get it done. And there were some data loss issues, there were some unforeseen events and everything, and then of course I come with this massive 20-point list of what's wrong with the instructions. So you can see it in 3DO, which, in case you're not familiar, is a piece of software John actually designed to our specification, both for previewing parts in a 3D environment. So for our larger ships, it makes sense, especially if you want to do custom ships. Some people go really crazy with this thing, planning out their builds. And then the other main reason that we wanted to develop it is because our instructions for larger ships, they normally require us to get really super involved and do renders for each step. And if we click instructions, show out instructions, we can start previewing the step-by-steps that John's been putting in. So it says 74 steps, but really these are multi-part steps. The video I'll be putting out in an hour or so goes through all of this in detail with my sort of tips. So I expect to see maybe a few more Typhons being completed with this general guide. And of course, you can stop it at any point, select a part, you can get the part name, it's copyable if you want to get the proper version. I'm just going to progress very rapidly through this so you can see all of these incredible steps. There's a few things, a few smaller things, like, let me just go back a sec. Actually, it doesn't matter so much on that one. Let's get back, and I want to get to the point where we can see that ladder well on deck B here. Okay, so one thing in particular, which is a minor detail I would do differently, is you can kind of see here, there we go, that John is adding the ladder at this step. Now that ladder has to thread through this bottom piece too, and it's extremely tight. So I would, you can build it like this, but I would remove this floor, and we do advise you don't connect all of the floor together. I would remove the floor so that you've got that against a flat surface before you put in this ladder, because it's extremely tight. So unless you want to do some filing or sanding or that sort of thing, it will be pretty hard to get down all the way to the bottom where it's supposed to go, because it's meant to thread not just through this part, but through this part here. Anyway. We'll talk about Gridforge 2 later, because that's coming up very soon. We're going to have a frontier on my mini factory. And now I'm just going to squeeze this through the entire way. So I think on the whole, excellent job here. This will get the job done. I might have changed things about 5% more, but honestly, this will get you where you need to go. And most of it might be a bit of learning by doing. Let's see, and then the roof. The most important thing I think about the top section on the upper level is it seems natural to want to connect this part to this part and the opposite side as well. Don't. The idea is this is meant to lift off. The same that deck A is meant to all be one part. This is the top of deck A. If you connect these, you're going to have a hard time actually getting it all to rest in, because it is a massive ship. And with all those parts, unless you glue it exactly as tight as possible together, you are going to end up in a situation where there's just the tolerances will make it so that, you know, you'll put one side in and then you won't be able to slot in the other unless you're able to, you know, lift the ship and squeeze it together. So I just leave these parts separate and it'll look much better. Alright, so basically, this is the awesome job he's done. Fantastic work. Very big ship, and instructions incoming. And I really love this ship. It's been fun to work on. I'm glad it's done with, but it took a lot longer. So Deck Designer is still Deck Designer. Deck Designer is defunct. This is essentially Deck Designer 2.0. It is its own thing. It was a complete redesign. So yeah, it's 3DO. Yeah, 3D diorama is the like what it's a short for. Again, included free with tribes, or you can buy it one off on itch.io, and that will include lifetime upgrades. So yeah, although we may do a version 3 in the future or something like that. I think John has ideas to put it over, but that will be a larger project. Okay, let's just load this in, but before anything loads up, I'm going to go through the pictures that John sent me for some Traveller updates. Albin has finished the version he's sending over to
John.
To John, yeah. So John is going to do the interiors for the APCs just to make it as print friendly as possible. It won't be super new geometry. It'll just be a customization based on older stuff. We do have some new... Oh, you want to show off stuff?
I just thought it would be interesting to drop everything on the floor.
You really did, didn't you?
I actually did.
Okay. So without... Let's switch to my close-up camera, and I can maybe... What am I showing off with this one? Didn't we show this
No,
off?
I just wanted to show the
Oh, the size comparison.
Yeah.
So here's our Not Trepidar, and the Astron is based on the Not Trepidar. We can swap.
Yes.
So
I messed up the roof a little bit.
yes, I can see that. It's a bit loose at the moment. So here we have the Astron.
Yeah.
So this is a nice compromise between the version in the Mongoose books, and we have this sort of like folding gate at the back where your troops will come out, right?
Yeah.
We have a turret on top
Pew, pew, pew.
that is more like vehicle weapon sized,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't even shown in the illustrations. So we have gone back and looked at the descriptions of the vehicles.
Yeah.
And got a bit of asymmetry, which I love.
A little radar dish.
Yes, makes all the difference. And then the little roof thing, I guess, has a compartment underneath. where John's interior will slot in. So we're not going to have a cockpit, just the troop section. Really, all you would want on a tabletop.
Yes.
So there you go.
There you go.
And then John had sent through. Where did my browser go? Is this it? Yes. So this is the baseline for our Varga combat armor, which is Mongoose approved. You can see a version with the helmet, a version without, based on the Mongoose art. I asked about the tail because I thought, hey, isn't that kind of important? You might want to protect that as a doggo. But according to Mongoose, no, it's all good. Fully exposed tails and combat armor. So what are you gonna do? I think you would just put like an armored sleeve on it or something. But I assume that Varga communicate a little bit with their tails. I know my dog certainly communicates with his tail. I love helicopter tails. It's hilarious. What else have we got here? I think we also have their sonic weapon. So this won't be for all of their troops, but it's very silly. But this is also from the Mongoose art, and I think this, considering what the art looks like, it came out better than I thought it would. But the idea of them putting a dog scope on the top was so silly. Yeah, it's just one of those things. And then you can see a size comparison here with the laser rifle for the Imperials. So yeah, there you go. It's a fun weapon. I'm sure the chat is having fun with this one. Woof woof indeed. I also think an armor tail will be better, but it's been approved, so it is what it is. All right, let's talk about Gridforge. We showed it off a little bit last week, so I do encourage you to check out next week's episode. But basically, very, very shortly, we're going to be launching a frontier. John is working on the page as we speak. Oh, the pre-market page is ready. Can you link it to the chat, John? Yeah, Albin took some pictures this morning. Do we have them somewhere, John? Albin?
They are in sales images.
Sales images. Let's have a look in sales images. Sales images what?
Gridforge sales images.
So you didn't put them in our sales images. You put it production Gridforge sales images.
No, did I?
I don't know.
No. It should be sales images on Gridforge.
Okay, hang on a sec. Sales images, and there's a new folder called Gridforge.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I see a giveaways, not a Gridforge folder. Or is it campaign Gridforge?
Campaign Gridforge.
There it is. Okay. So there's not a whole heap in here so far, but we have a cool new logo. If this loads. I don't want Affinity Designer, no! You're stealing my RAM. So let's try the JPEG version instead. No, I don't want a 7-day trial. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you can kind of get a concept here. I haven't seen the painted versions. God, that came out so cool! Oh, awesome! So this is a Shuttle Alpha Mark IV with some Gridforge attached to it. So you can actually, let me see if there's anything more in this folder, because this is a pre-marketing page thing.
I think it's only photos as well.
Only photos?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, in the photos folder. Okay, yeah, but we still have a couple of photos that we could look at, and conceivably these should load. So you can see the Shuttle Alpha Mark IV there. Only the cargo area, right, has been switched out for Gridforge.
Yeah.
So this is my old Mark IV. We went with a new orange tile, which I think looks really cool with the blue. You can kind of see here the concept where, bits and pieces can be swapped out. So you can, for example, have a workshop in there, or you could have cargo. I assume it eventually gets shot with the cargo in the ship, but
I'm not sure. I might have actually forgotten.
So, yeah, it looks like Alvin forgot that part. But basically, you can pull all the tiles out if you need to and swap them, hot swap them essentially, which is fantastic. And, yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think John's getting the link ready, or maybe I can find it myself here on the other page. Let me see. I need to re-log in, apparently.
I think he was talking about asking if you could have the links at the end of the stream.
Oh, did he say that? Okay. We'll go with that one. We'll put the links in at the end of the stream. So help remind me, Alvin.
I will do my best.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's because the pre-marketing page isn't actually live. I think MMF have to put it up. Okay. So hopefully my manufacturer responds to our Discord query during the stream. We've still got 35 minutes-ish. And yeah, I guess we will move on in the meantime. So stuff is happening with Traveller. We're still looking pretty good for end of December for release. So you guys should be getting some Chrissy presents. I think the STLs we can probably release anyway in December. Because now that the main files are available, yeah, probably around the time. What date are we launching Gridforge, John? We've got a date, right? I just can't remember the specific date. (16th of December) we're going with. So after the Black Friday sale. Oh, Black Friday sale, guys. Yeah. Get on My Manufactory. Everything on our store is 50% off at the moment. So go nuts. That should last until, well, after the actual Black Friday. But yeah, get in. Get your ships at half price. Of course, this does not apply to the Typhon, but you can get a late pledge for that ship in particular. So again, awesome job with the Typhon. I really love this thing. And I think, I just can't remember, but does this have a walkthrough mode? I can't quite remember. I know you can actually do it in Maya, but I mean, it just looks so cool. And I'm so proud of how the design is coming out.
Oh, that looks awesome.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Makes me want to play the game.
Yeah. Like you can just see how it would feel to be in this ship.
Man, it makes me think of, you know, those dungeon crawlers, first perspective in 3D, where you walk tile by tile.
Oh, old school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of that almost. Not that I played it, but.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting caught up here.
Yeah.
Moving through the ship, in the workshop, the cargo bay, and this is without the APC and power loader. Because yeah, we did those, right? So yeah, sorry about that, guys. The walkthrough, we do have a walkthrough mode in Maya, but instead we're going to look at something else, and I'm going to put this in one, and this is the part where John's going to say, Ben, you're a moron. I hate you. No, I love you, sir. I didn't mean that.
Well, that's too accurate.
Yeah. It may or may not have happened before in the past. So this is most of the Sleipnir. And this is what we're going to be working on for the rest of this session. Here's the deal. So here's the deal. In February, once we've delivered all the STLs that are outstanding for the Traveller campaign, we're going to try something new with BackerKit. BackerKit are quite excited to work with us. It's a different form of crowdfunding based on their mailing lists, essentially. We're hoping it helps us reach a new campaign, like audience, I guess. And you may or may not know that the Expanse recently launched 28mm scale miniatures on BackerKit and brought in $300,000. Now, the beauty of working with BackerKit is they can actually say, hey, people who back this campaign, here's a project you might be interested in. And it's specifically targeted towards that audience that really might be interested. Now, we've been talking about what would we put in this potential BackerKit campaign. It's not to say we'll never use Kickstarter again. That's, of course, not going to happen. What we want to do is broaden our audience with people we're not reaching on My Mini Factory or on Kickstarter. And this is a way that we can potentially do some of that. So the idea is, let's appeal to that Expanse group in particular. Of course, we'd love to appeal to the Alien community as well, but second edition of Alien, which includes miniatures, has been delayed until spring next year. So this makes sense. I've been wanting to do another Expanse-style ship for a while. A couple of weeks back, maybe a month ago, we started sketching out a potential design for like a belter pirate ship. And I was just like, but Gridforge. So, I've started modernizing Sleipnir and converting the floors to Gridforge. Yeah, I did that. I'm doing that. And I wanted to do the base ship first so that we can actually put out 3 or 4 ships based on the Sleipnir with new parts and old parts combined. Yeah. So we do need some more designs, but you can see here there have been some upgrades. In particular, the engines. They're still compatible with the old light kits if you have one. If you want to rig up some custom lighting, these should be fully compatible. John hasn't even been able to comment yet. So either he's stopped watching or he's just so shocked that he's dumbfounded. So we've got an autosave, and unfortunately this scene is quite large because all of the expansions for the ship are hidden. This has also been a part of converting and building our library of parts to use, so it has dual purposes, but your first ship. What are you commenting on? Oh, nothing, John. Nothing. Oh, okay. You launched the campaign. Great. He's panicking. He's distracted by something else. Dual purposes now? I mean, that's already possible. But let me give you a tour of the ship so far. So I'm going to kill some of these upper decks. We might have 1 or 2 stray objects. Let's see, that should be on deck 10. What did you say?
Porpoise.
A porpoise is a dolphin, yeah, bottlenose dolphin. So, yeah, better look at the engines. So basically, I've taken the improvements I made when I built the engines for the Hyperion Sphere and applied the same principles. This is a complete redo, but yes, reusing some parts. So we get this nice engine effect. Let's go up a level. Can start to see just some of the shader improvements in particular. The floor issues, which I know have been reported about 5 or 6 different times over the years in the support channel, have finally been addressed. And the way I've been addressing it, there are still main OpenLog parts is, in the OpenLog templates, this part under here used to go up, but now since we want to print on the side, that's not necessary. So I've just created a bit more thickness in the floor. So even though it's a simple design still with no major changes, that will be finished. What? Sam's got a question about the Typhon. There is a slot in the forward landing gear. Is there a railgun that could slot into that? A slot in the forward landing gear? Do you mean the laser thingy? Like, sorry for the distraction, people. This thing? Technically, that's what goes into it there, but technically you could attach anything that can attach with a clip. So, a rail gun, I don't think we've made one that would fit it just now. But yeah, there are things happening, like these RCS classes have had an upgrade. Obviously the lighting and shading has had an upgrade. If we go up one level, the other major change you'll note here is we've pulled out all of the supports that were in here, so that this can actually print as is. And even I kind of figured out that actually some of these with the floor supports, we can actually just turn on its side if you want to print it out without having to worry about those overhangs. Technically, there's quite a few parts like that. We probably won't do that, but you know, this is a part of it. A few modifications here, small things like just this little chamfering here to help aid the lift going through. Let's see, have a look at the next level up. Look at this. That bench looks familiar, doesn't it? It was on our Shuttle Alpha Mark IV. This thing, there's the bench. And Lieselot actually drew inspiration, or rather, I think Albin directed her. Albin's been very directive this week. I mentioned last week we've got a new intern. She isn't here today, Cornelia, but...
Unlimited power!
Yes, it's going to Albin's head. So quite a few changes, small updates, most of it just being making sure all of this can print support free. You can make a railgun for the laser thing. Yeah, you certainly could make anything compatible with that. So I just like looking down this thing. It's been a while since I've seen this ship. And I mean, I loved it so much. This is one of our first modernized ships. So aside from... There are a few things I might yet change, like you can see this wall has been bored inwards. But all these floor tiles here in the middle... Wait, not that one. This one? Oh no, we did it to level up. I haven't changed it here yet. You might recall that these doors were really hard to pull out. Now they've got a sliding track. And they actually... are multi-part prints. So I just said, yeah, forget clips and that sort of thing. I just want to have something that snaps in. You can open and shut that door. There's a little track. There's a little nub that you can sort of draw. I said nub, not knob.
Okay.
Bit of increased detail on the flooring. I've thickened up a few areas, just this corner here, for example, just to make it a little bit more stable. You can see this new, the handles. Just a few small details. Increase in polygons. The upper end of the airlock level, and then I think deck 6 is basically where we're at this point in time. And I made some quality of life improvements, like this thing. These walls were actually in here, and in fact I think if we got to like deck 3, I want to say, you can kind of see how these walls, like these are 1.5 tiles by 1.5 tiles by, sorry, 2 tiles by 1.5 tiles, with the walls on the inside, but it kind of made it hard to put miniatures in these rooms. And I think I was thinking about modularity at the time. Here I've said, bugger the modularity, and actually integrated some of these details with the walls. You'll still be able to paint them just fine, but more room for miniatures. And this is where we start getting to the to the Gridforge.
Whoa.
So you'll be able to customize things a little bit better. It's not a huge amount of customization, but hey, it makes a difference. It's a gimmick. It's also a reason why we might entice people that already own Sleipnirs to like get an upgrade whilst they're picking up the other ships we'll have on offer. Is this going to be an upgrade to files we already have? It's next on my print queue after I finish the Typhon. I'd say it'll be... I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I imagine the base Sleipnir will get the treatment. The question is, will I be releasing it at this point in time or later down the line? So either it'll be an upgrade that costs a little bit during that campaign, or it'll be a free upgrade but at a much later date. So the thing is, these upgrades take time. And I don't want to say how much time I've spent on my weekends or other time on this so far, but it's more than you'd think. But I think it looks great, and you can kind of see like the difference here. And in fact, I think we'll go through the process a little bit of how we would modify this. I really wish I had a bio break before I started this thing, but oh well. So this is the galley level. My mini factory is pretty much silent right now. I have to set it to private and no clue what to do here. I shall sit tight and pretty. Okay, so I expect this, some panic conversation going on there. You must have found a special key that unlocks the website. Okay. John does have a habit of like hacking his way into my mini factory at times to fix things that are bugs on their end. So yeah, I need to finish coloring these and reshaping them. It's going to take a bit more time. It's going to be a bit boring, so I think we'll start in the galley instead. So I'm going to go up to the galley level, and the first thing I need to do is look at these floor tiles. And you'll notice that these are colored blue or gray, very boring. I'm going to ditch this because I'm going to grab the one from the level underneath. And you'll notice too now that these are split up into 3 parts: the floor, the frame, and the back section. So this should now be, although it's still a little bit fiddly to get a paintbrush in here, it was practically impossible with 4 sides closed in. So now it's a little bit easier to paint. And technically, we could probably have done another split in here or something, but yeah, not going that far. So we can just grab this frame from the level below and bring it up. And I think the floor, I did do a custom version without these wall segments. So I'm just going to duplicate this up and isolate. We want to move our pivot point down into one of the corners here so it is aligned correctly, and then use our grid to move it up. So let's move it up, move it up, move it up. Cha-ching! Bing! It's now on the top. A machine that goes bing?
Oh, I've heard of it, but...
yeah, that's from Monty Python, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at this. This is something that just bothered me now. I realized that the crew level doesn't have any toilets. We might change that. I don't know. Maybe we need to change that. Anyway, maybe that needs to get changed in a different ship, and we'll address these issues later. The main thing is that we'll have a great template to work off. So let's bring this door up as well. It needs to be a little bit lower than that. So in line with this thing, which means we can delete this one, close that, something like that. And then this floor here, I think on my workshop layer, which is full of stuff, I saved out a version here that has the feature we want. So I'm just going to add this to deck 5 instead, close off my workshop. And we're going to go up. Is there anything happening in the chat, Albin? Albin's working. Never mind, I'll look myself. Let's see. Shergol was unable to find it in time. I don't know what he's even talking about, but yeah, fancy slide door, nice. Narf? What? Increased detail on that knob. I mean, nub, sort of. Okay. Trevor Sanders. Hey, how you going, Trevor? Is this going to be an upgrade? Oh, I already looked at all of this, so I should have answered my own question about is there anything going on in the chat with just Solo Spirit saying that they'd happily buy an upgrade, which is nice to know.
Yay.
And, I mean, this truly is an upgrade. I know it's, you know, revisiting old meshes and that sort of thing, but, like, if you compared it to, say, it takes way longer than, like, a Tribes entry, for example, to get all this in place. Let's see, why is this not letting me delete the history?
Sounds weird.
Outputs. There's a bunch of outputs and things. Okay. Oh, mate, I think this is just because I have...
Instance?
No, could it be that, yeah... No, DAG objects only is on. That's weird.
It's not a reference?
It's listing the textures as outputs.
What?
Yeah. Oh! Oh, look. Our old friend. The too many UV maps has returned. Okay. And instantly it disappears. So that is very... oh, and what else disappeared? Also, the actual texture.
Oh, we got a link in chat.
What?
We got a link in chat.
Oh, we got a... Did we get a link in chat?
Yay!
Let's
say yes.
Yep, I got that. Let's see. 50.8. There we go. We've got our stripe pattern back. It looks like it's going in the right direction. So let's look at the... Yeah, okay. The Frontier is live. Let's have a squiz. Oh, it opened on the wrong window. Let's move it over here. So we've got our pre-marketing page up. For some reason, it's got very ugly fonts. But yeah, you can get into Gridforge now and reserve. Follow the link. And be one of the wonderful people to get notified. 25% early bird discount. What? Did I agree to that? I'm sure I did. So there you go. Worth getting in on early. That makes the grid upgrade a current event. It kind of does. Alright. Yeah, I know I agreed to it, John. I know. I'm just joshing. That might be too... That's not an expression most people are familiar with. Just joshing, right?
Is it like joking around?
It is.
Ah,
context. But I don't know who Josh is or was. So some of these floor panels will get replaced. It looks like there's something peeking through from the level below, but a lot of this is like... Wouldn't this just be a little bit better if this wall, instead of being here, was back here somewhere, right? Get rid of these nubs. We don't need them anymore. I think I had some convoluted idea that, you know, the Rocinante has like an outer layer separate. You can't get a miniature in there. Who cares? We're optimizing play area, right? And even technically some of this stuff could almost be baked into the wall. Almost. I don't think so. I think we're probably going to have this on their tiles. And these tiles in particular, I think they print out quite nicely flat. Especially if you put ironing on. Oh god, they're still going on about the nibs and the nubs.
You need to nip it in the nubs.
It was John's revenge for the Sleipnir. the discount not agreed upon. John just decided because he's like, Sleipnir, right, 25% off. And we're also planning to do a sort of like, I guess, a Gridforge edition of the Mark IV, since we, you know, did that already. with just like a few bucks for an upgrade. I say a few, but it could be 5, but still, I don't know yet. No pricing to be announced, because we do kind of need to, survive and all that, but whatever. This here, where the color is changing, indicates to me that there's actually 2 different geometries here. So if I move this out of the way, oh right, I keep forgetting with this scene that it was set up so that I could do a side render. So if I move some of this, I think, yeah, see how some geometry just goes off to whoop whoop? So I need to delete these and anything else that's not moving. Let's see, that needs to go. I think that's all. And then we've got some kind of double geometry here as well. This looks like the old, yeah, that's the old lift side thing. So we're going to delete that. And we can move that other stuff back into place, but actually having it moving out of the way, like you can kind of see, if I turn on some more layers, you can see the bigger picture. It was meant to let you get a side view into the ship, right? Let's see. I try to make my deck plans with Gridforge, but they keep spacing out. Oh god. Jeez. That was me throwing up in my mouth at the dad joke.
Sherlock is really impressive. He's way worse than I am, I think.
I don't know. But I feel a little bit nauseous. So with some of these changes now, we're going to have to, get rid of some of these parts. And normally I would just move them to the side. But even just this, like, okay, there's going to be a toilet on top. Was it that funny?
I don't know. I'm just in a mood.
Puns are the highest form of humor. I don't lower myself to make other jokes.
I'm so ready.
I mean,
to leave.
I enjoy a good pun, to be honest. But my wife hates them, and so I guess I got to get that out of my system while I'm on here. That needs to come up a tiny bit more. There we go. And then technically I'll be replacing most of these floors anyway. Like at the moment, I think this is built in with a base. The nature of Gridforge is such that we would still do this with the base. You would just make it 1 or 2 tiles with these built in. But there are some exceptions here. Like I know this is meant to print on its back. So maybe there's an alternative way of thinking about this. I'm not sure. But, the primary object here, sorry, we've got an autosave going on again, is to get this looking nice and fancy and going through the repetitive process of doing so. It's amazing what changing a few shaders can do for a scene. It'll be a lot cooler to render. And a part of this upgrading shaders has been a part of my weekend hobby of like printing the sides of ships and whatnot. Like I didn't convert the whole thing, but I mean I certainly started doing a few parts of Chimera, like because I used to use a completely different shading system in Redshift, and we've switched twice since then. I think once or twice, I can't remember. I feel like once upon a time before Redshift we used, oh yeah, we used V-Ray as well. Before Redshift, so there's quite a few different shifts. So yeah, let's get this looking cool first. So let's start with the tiles, and I'm going to just show you some fancy ways that you can reshade things. So I'm going to select this thing and isolate just what I want to reshade. I'm going to start with the base colors. So we're going to go for our light metal is what the main thing is based on. Then the lines in between, it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just deselecting anything that isn't on this particular plane that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to go and change this one to regular AI metal. And then the deepest recesses, let's select this and deselect this. Should have something still selected. It's not visible, but it's there. Assign existing material, and we want to go for our darkest gray. It sounds like really Batman-ish. And there we go. Like, the floor panels all of a sudden are popping. And they'll look even better in renders. And even the outside of the ship, like this really dark material, actually is like a form of ceramic tile texture that looks cool in renders. Bombed out in space with a space out ship. Much edgelord. So yeah. I'm just really looking forward to the... I can see it just says on my Discord 9+ messages. So I'm hoping that's John sorting things out with my mini factory and not John saying, "What the hell have you done?" Alright. So these furniture pieces too are quite flat at the moment. So let's isolate these. Actually, I want to isolate it in the side again. So I want to get the bottom section. And we can kind of keep doing this thing where we sort of select the bottom. There we go. And then we apply... I think we want to have like a metallic bottom. That makes sense. We want these areas here to be darker in the little recesses. What?
The problem with Traveler Batman is that it takes 6 weeks to get the bat signal.
Do, 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 do.
There was an interesting comment from Shadow Liger earlier, by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe a grid floor plan competition in the future that gets a ship exterior.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
Although it will just be like 3 entrants, but still. Shurgle, Shadow Liger. I guess we have a few more custom people. That would be interesting to do. So I'm just doing some cheats on occasion with different camera angles. You can also switch to wireframe is good for selection and deselection. I can hear. I'm distracted by Hannes moving about. He's going to be streaming tonight too. He's going to be a space trucker. I'm so proud.
It looks really fun.
Space trucker.
Yeah.
Space trucker.
Especially when Hannes plays it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh, ja. Vad fett.
Alrighty. So I think this should be metallic. Maybe we need some kind of highlight on this area. Let's see. Double select that. So we want to make this into maybe like a light gray. Nice. And then we want these to be metal. Because this is Scandinavia after all. We're all about metal.
Oh, Brothers of Metal.
Brothers of Metal.
This whole morning. Ooh! The new album is really awesome.
Yes. I believe we have already discussed Brothers of Metal multiple times on our streams. Because wasn't Shurgle mentioning it as well?
I think it was Shadow Liger.
Was it Shadow Liger?
Yeah.
One of them will confirm.
It is fitting when Fimble Winter is here.
Yes.
Yes, it is, but it's not the real Fimble Winter I was saying to Alvin.
Yeah.
Brother is not fighting brother.
Yeah.
Don't say that!
Great minds think alike. Or something.
Alrighty, so this is the same color as the floor metal parts. And this is like a tedious process. And one could ask, is it worth it? It doesn't really affect the geometry. Although what it does do Yep, there we go. What it does do is let me identify where there are mesh issues, and I found a number of them in this thing. Sloppy work. I consider Sleipnir to be the transition point between the old style of making ships and the new style of making ships. It's also marks like when we switched from our own designs to Traveller. But there are less lessons learned. Like if I opened up the Scout Ship beta scene, I would just see issues left and right. There are far less issues with this thing. God, the texture name sometimes. Lamb, dark, grey, light.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, that's just been my thing ever since seeing the new the Batman theme. Because I love the theme, but it's also very derpy at the same time. I guess it's already 4 o'clock technically, but hey. I do need to finish the instructions video, so I can't stay on forever. What color should the countertops be? Should it be a... actually, let's look at the swatches. Open up the swatches in the Hypershade. It's loading on my other window. This is the thing that crashes Maya more than anything for some reason. The Hypershade is hyper shameful. Wait, what? The stream disappeared for a second. Okay, it looks good, looks good. No one panic. Red, red, blood for the blood god. Yeah. That's an option. Strong orange is also another option. It's like orange, but stronger. So I would say, like, we can go... The original was like a light bluish, like a cornflower blue, maybe slightly more metallic. So we can go in that direction. I would like something that's going to contrast both with the plants and the dark hull on the outside. So, intense clear. No, we're not doing anything that's... Orange is good too, praise the sun. Light blue is so Swedish, yes it is, but I'm over the light blue now. Red, it will go faster. It's just a countertop, Tamsin.
The fastest countertop.
Yeah, the fastest countertop. It goes faster than all the other countertops. It installs quicker. Medium light blue. We don't have that one yet. We could turn it into an engine glow or a workshop top. You know what? This was a mistake. Makes the best coffee. I'm going to test out the orange and see how it looks. I know that's not a very inclusive answer, but you people are very silly. Strong orange. Oh, that is bright. And it kind of looks like a Tachi sort of color, doesn't it? Doesn't it kind of look Martian Navy, doesn't it? Just a little bit. And that's the trick. Make it Martian on the inside and the outside. Silly 785. Oh well. Oh, you've got a color there, Shergol. I gotta check this out on a different screen. Oh, it's a lilac color. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not offensive, except to my eyes. There it is. Alrighty. That's grey, isn't it? 00FF. No, it's not grey. Let's see. Oh, now you're just being silly. I'm not looking at any more of those. Periwinkle. Disco. Oh my god. Yeah, that's I'm inclined to end this madness now. We didn't get very far today either. Oh my god. This is fun. It's been fun, but it is definitely a Friday at the moment, and if we want to have that video finished and out today, Which I think is a priority considering all of the delays we've had. We're going to have to end this thing. Yes, it is a good time. One of these times, we should make sure I don't have to go home to the wife and crack open a couple of cold ones and just see where the night takes us. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Friday. This was the 47th episode of the year, which means we're just 5, possibly 6 off the end of the year and having the one episode a week, which is absolutely fantastic if you ask me. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back with more, perhaps more of a traveler focus next week. I'm not sure. Actually, probably Gridforge, now that I think about it. But yeah, get in there, follow the link. Oh, excuse I. And yeah, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.